You want me to put that on my todger?
This one's wife, Harry Pothead, and the phone calls of secrets. Bum bum pum 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 pum. Yes, as our favourite Prince of Pink Pancakes found himself in something similar to J.K. Rowling's excellent Harry Potter series, are we going to be taken on a series of adventures with old hair plugs? Hapless Has? Well, we can only find out as a consequence of diving in, courtesy of that bastion of journalistic excellence, which is Heat. As always, I'll leave it up to you to make your own determination as to the veracity of the source material. As you know, from time to time, I provide my own observations upon that, vis-a-vis veracity and believability. But I have an intelligent viewership, and I invariably leave for you to draw your own conclusions. What I'm here to do is explain it all vis-a-vis the prism of narcissism. According to this article, he used to have the inside track on all royal matters, and was privy to the monarchy's most confidential conversations. But these days, Prince Harry's links to the palace are more tenuous. This, of course, is a collateral consequence of his isolation, a form of manipulation that is used by his wife to control him, which impacts upon his relationships with his family members, a very common consequence of a narcissist ensnaring an individual. Regularly, I advise worried family members about a son or a daughter who has got caught up with a narcissist and it has impacted upon their relationship with their other family members. With Harry, it's no different. This one's wife ensnared him, which has taken him away from his family, and also having no involvement with some of his in-laws, and it's resulted in him not only missing out on those relationships, but it's meant that he's been cut out of the loop with regard to the provision of certain information. Over the past 4 years, any hopes of him and this one's wife maintaining a direct line to the inner circle have diminished, and sources say the absent royals now have relatively little communication with Harry's family. It has been reported that Harry only found out about the Princess of Wales's cancer diagnosis when she announced it to the public via video message in March. Well, it makes perfect sense. Why would she go out of her way to contact a duo that had been nasty about her? This was, of course, despite the fact that he used to describe her as the sister I've never had and always wanted. Once again, there looms large the impact of his involvement with this one's wife. Meanwhile, Harry, 39, is apparently likewise in the dark when it comes to King Charles's cancer battle, and was unable to see his father during a fleeting trip to London last month, owing to the King's busy schedule. But according to insiders, Harry isn't giving up. Despite his wife recognising that circumstances have changed and he should move on, well, what she would say is, don't bother contacting them, Harry, they're the nasty ones. She will, of course, say this because, viewed through her distortion field that is her narcissism, she believes that her and Harry are the victims. And furthermore, it suits her purposes, with regard to control of him as the intimate partner primary source, to keep him apart from his family. His family is seen as an interference, and the narcissism tells her that his family are nasty and therefore are to be avoided, thus serving the purpose of keeping Harry away from them and making it easier for her to control him. Apparently, he's calling when he can for updates on both his father and sister-in-law's health, and is refusing to be put off by any silence. Now, if you believe that's the case, this demonstrates that Harry is exhibiting emotional empathy with regard to his father and sister-in-law and still wanting to find out how they are, despite the fact that he's being met by a wall of silence. The lines of communication to Harry are limited and are decreasing all the time, says an insider close to the Duke of Sussex, who ostensibly burnt any remaining bridges between him and Prince William after a slew of attacks on his brother in his 2023 memoir, Spare. If he emails or calls to request a specific update, royal staff will eventually give him a generic response, but the details are scant. Thus it would appear that Harry, very much an outsider, continues to call and email and gets no further than the first line of the defence, namely the staff, who give him a generic response. His father isn't picking up the phone, assertion of control by staying in a position of withdrawal. Kate is in no position to update him. With her, it'll be a consequence of a reduction in her emotional empathy for Harry as a consequence of the way that he and his handler have behaved. The fact he sometimes reads about his family, rather than hear directly from them, hurts even more. He's following it all from afar, and he's exasperated. Even getting basic information can be a struggle. Now, this, of course, also underlines the dim-wittedness of the Prince of Pink Pancakes, because he ought to work out the reason why he's not getting this information. It's as a consequence of the way that he and his wife have behaved. And he ought to realise, well, it's not a surprise, really, they won't talk to me if I behave like a complete dipshit. Adding to Harry's frustrations, the article continues, is the fact that updates on Kate's recovery have been conflicting over the past few weeks. After announcing to the world that she'd been diagnosed with cancer and was undergoing preventative chemotherapy treatment, she explained she'd focused on making a full recovery, out of the spotlight. But while some reports have said that she's turned a corner in her treatment and could be returning to royal duties in autumn, others have said it's unlikely that Kate will appear in public at all this year. Well, that's because those individuals don't have actual access to Catherine nor her medical reports, and it's simply speculation. Last week, in a rare update, Buckingham Palace confirmed that Kate would not be attending the Colonel's Review, the traditional rehearsal for Trooping the Colour on 8th of June, but no further statement was provided. Prince William provided some reassurance last week, saying that his wife is doing very well, but detailed information has been thin on the ground. Well, it's bound to be. It's nobody's business other than the family's. And Harry has been left questioning when he'll get to see his sister-in-law again. As for Charles, we're told Harry knows that his father is doing better following his return to royal duties, but he is unable to hear much directly from him. But while Harry won't take no for an answer, we're told that this one's wife, 42, is urging him to stop putting himself through this anguish. Now, if this were true, she'll be doing it on the basis of false compassion. You're just hurting yourself, Harry. They're nasty. They don't want to know you. That's why we moved. Just let it go. But of course, her narcissism will encourage her to state those things because it suits her purposes to do so to keep Harry separate from his family. According to Heat, she understands that Harry is worried, but at this point, this one's wife feels he needs to stop trying to change a situation that's out of his control, says our source. They've sent good wishes and prayers to Kate and Charles, my arse. There's nothing more they can do, so she's telling Harry it's time to take a step back. Make no mistake, it concerns her enormously. Bullshit. But if his family won't update Harry about his own father and sister-in-law, then he just has to move on and accept change. Of course, this all underpins the hypocrisy of this one's wife with regard to being concerned about Charles and Catherine, purportedly, of course, but showing no concern whatsoever for her own father, who is unwell. That's always the problem, of course, for the narcissist, that they will express supposed concern for certain individuals, but we know because they're a narcissist, it's just false contrition and false compassion for the purpose of the assertion of control and drawing fuel, and then they will expose themselves as a hypocrite by failing to demonstrate such supposedly genuine behaviour towards other people in the fuel matrix. Thus, Harry keeps making these secret phone calls, although they don't appear to be that secret if this one's wife knows about them and that Heat magazine is party to them. But nevertheless, he's not getting anywhere, and it's all as a consequence of the way that he has behaved, aided and abetted as always by his handler. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.